Welcome to Balanced Life with Debbie Carlin Boyle. Conversations connecting to a healthier you. The show that gives you all the latest and greatest health and wellness information to inspire you to live a life of balance and joy. Debbie Carlin Boyle is a health and nutrition coach, personal trainer, and fitness instructor who helps her clients live in balance with everything that feeds us, in addition to the food on our plate. Please welcome your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle.
Welcome everybody to my show. Ooh, longer claps and I have a good audience today. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. I am Balanced Life. I'm conversations that are connecting to a healthier you with me, your host, Debbie Carlin Boyle. And I welcome you to today's show. We have a great conversation for you today. And as always, I like you to become part of that conversation. So how does that happen? Well, two ways. One, you could go to my Facebook page, which is Fit by Design, and then right under is a logo for Balanced Life. Not only am I streaming live there, but there's a place to make comments, ask a question. We can get back to you after the show. Sometimes I glance at it during the show, and we can get to it during the show. The other way is to call in, ask a question, or make a comment for myself or my guest today. And the number here is 323-843-2826. So there you have it. Become part of this conversation today because we're talking about something that I am very passionate about. Because, as you mostly know, as I have been saying for a long time, is that food changes everything. I've been saying this for years. I will continue to say it for years. I've experienced it firsthand. I've seen it in my clients, my friends, and my family, how food can help you or it can hinder you. My guest today, Jared Talla, feels the same way. Quotes Jared, "If you don't have healthy food, then we don't have a healthy us. And if we're not healthy, then we're not happy. And if we're not happy, then we are not our true selves." Well said. I love this because it's so true. Jared is the founder of Butterfly Superfoods, who, after working on an organic farm, got a first-hand look at the value of organic farming and went on to combine his business background, his love of nuts, and with his gardening expertise to create a line of healthy nut butters that contain super healthy ingredients. On top of that, Jared donates 10% of his proceeds to support environmental protection products. To share with us today his journey, his products, and his continued mission to create a healthier planet and a healthier you, will you please welcome my guest, Jared Talla, to the show today. Hi, Jared. Am I saying your last name correctly?
Talla.
Talla, with an A.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Oh, okay.
The rest of the introduction was beyond perfect.
Jared Talla to my show. I usually ask my guests how to pronounce their names ahead of time, and I forgot to do that.
We're doing it live.
So, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for that incredible introduction.
Well, this is all what you're about. It's all you. Thank you for being as incredible you are at what you're doing and passionate about, and helping people to lead healthier lives through your passion. And that's how I sort of found you, is at a farmer's market.
Yeah.
So where you're selling your product, which we're going to get into detail today.
Yeah.
But before we do, from this intro, let's talk a little bit about you and what kind of led you to sustainable farming and understanding organic farming how that turned into you developing this product. So where are you from?
Yeah. All right. I'm from Los Angeles, actually. One of the last of a dying breed, I say.
I am too.
Are you?
Yeah, right down the street.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, there's not many of us still around.
It's true. This is very true.
Yeah. I grew up on the west side. Nice childhood, no complaints.
Where'd you go to school? Just curious.
Brentwood High School.
Oh, you went to Brentwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, nice small little school.
Yes, it is. My kids went to Marymount High School.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, down the street.
Sister school.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So you lived in Brentwood, went to Brentwood, and So what got you? Was it a trip? What did you do?
Yeah,
when you-
yeah. So I'd always been into healthy food, being an athlete and stuff as a baseball player growing up. I always, understood of like, you got to have your protein and your veggies so you can.
Why did you understand that? Were your parents healthy? Did they
Yeah.
introduce you to that?
My parents were definitely healthy for sure. And then as I got more serious about baseball and just competitive sports, I had trainers and baseball coaches who also taught me. So my parents definitely led the way with with being healthy, and then just other coaches taught me.
Which is
what
really
it
cool
meant.
because you would think like after a practice you would go for the hamburger and the French fries and
Yeah.
the milkshake or whatever to kind of reward yourself for
Sure.
working so hard. But it wasn't that way for you. You had a
Yeah.
different look at how.
Well,
food-
don't get me wrong. There were some reward days for
Yeah,
sure. Nobody's
yeah.
perfect,
No,
right?
of course.
Yeah, and no, but I definitely understood what eating healthy meant for sure. But I never really understood like really where our food comes from and what that's all about. So that was from a trip to Spain that I took. So it was like a week after I graduated college. I wanted to just get out of LA, do something totally different, have a really cool experience.
Where'd you go to school?
I was also USC.
USC.
So LA.
Okay, LA all the way.
Right, LA all
Yeah.
the way. But I really wanted that trip abroad, living somewhere else, just total opposite of what I was used to, right?
Yeah.
So I
Was-
decided.
So this is a post college, not
Yeah.
an abroad program.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
no, not studying
You said
abroad.
that. Okay.
Yeah, just like a week after I graduated college, just one-way flight to Barcelona because I was going to attempt to be a English teacher.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah. So I really wanted to do that just to be different, just something different. I didn't have a dream of being a teacher per se, but I thought that'd be a good way to live abroad and have a cool experience.
Had you ever been to Europe at that point? Had you ever
I
been to
had-
Spain?
Yeah, I had done a quick little Euro trip when I was 20 during college, sort of just to get my feet wet
Yeah.
with different countries and cities, and I was just like really quick and going through a bunch of different places and fell in love with Spain. I studied Spanish in high school as well,
So it was familiar. Yeah.
it was familiar. I could get by, and Barcelona is just an incredible city, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I was not able to get a proper work visa to teach in a school. So, and that was like really what I wanted, to be in like a classroom with kids,
Yeah.
which would have been really cool. But didn't get the work visa because it was very challenging. It takes a lot of time. So I was just like a tutor, one-on-one with adults and kids, going to their office or their house, which was fine, but it wasn't.
So when you were there, you actually took up residency there. I mean, like you found a
Yeah.
place to live. And,
Yeah.
and just.
Oh yeah, no, I lived there, yeah, for about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
I found an apartment with 2 locals who
Yeah.
barely spoke English, so there's more Spanish practice.
Yeah, you're
there.
immersed into the language.
Totally immersed.
Wow,
Yeah, and
this
like cool apartment, cool neighborhood for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a pretty decent amount of good friends there. But I wasn't all that happy with my work, with the teaching that I was doing. It just wasn't as
Satisfying for
Yeah,
you as you
it's-
were hoping it would be at that level
Exactly.
because you couldn't get in the schools.
Exactly. I found myself sort of, even though I was in Barcelona, I sort of was just doing the same things that I would be doing back in Los Angeles, just sort of like the same lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I just wanted something really different. I guess that was just that time where I just wanted to experience something totally opposite of what it's like to grow up in a nice neighborhood in LA. And I met a friend who told me about this thing that she was going to be doing called woofing. You ever heard of it?
No.
So it's
Wait, spell it.
Yeah, it's an acronym. So WWOOF, Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms.
Oh, okay.
So it's essentially a work exchange volunteer program where people like me can go and stay on a farm, a family organic farm, and work there, and you get room and board and like all the amazing fresh food you could want.
Oh, that's great. In
So-
exchange for working on the farm.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
did they tell you exactly the kind of work you're going to be doing
Yeah.
ahead of time? You
Yeah.
understand that you're going to be in the field?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
All right.
I knew I was going to be doing manual labor, working
Yeah.
outside, working with the garden that, here in Spain, they had a ton of olive trees, veggies, some chickens, their own little mini vineyard just for themselves.
The countryside in Europe. I just got back from,
Yeah, you were
it was
in
like 8
Italy,
weeks ago. Yeah, I
right?
was in Italy in Tuscany. So
Yeah.
I know what those areas are like. They just suck you in, don't they? I mean,
my
they just
God.
become
Yeah.
you, and the land becomes part
Yeah.
of you. The smells, the looks, the vistas, go
Yeah.
on and on. I can see how you can fall in love with that
Yeah.
topography.
Yeah,
really.
exactly. It was just so cool. Yeah, the people that were there. So, yeah, so I decided to do it, and I showed up to this farm like in the middle of nowhere, like it was a crazy like 3.5 hour bus ride just to arrive at this place. But it was
Wow.
incredible countryside, so beautiful, and nobody spoke English.
Wait, what was the city called in Spain? Where were you?
Oh gosh, I can't even remember. It
Okay.
was just this teeny
I
tiny
was just
town.
wondering.
It was
It
in
probably wouldn't be familiar to me. But
yeah, I believe I flew into Granada in Andalusia.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was one of the smaller cities that I flew into, and then from there took a bus just out into the middle of nowhere. But it was in Andalusia,
Okay.
south of Spain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So, yeah, I was there for about a month, and it was just a month was all I needed just to fall in love and to have that like experience that I wanted.
So what was the experience? What did
Yeah.
you do? What did they have you do exactly?
Yeah.
In
Well,
terms
when
of
it-
getting your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Really, literally.
Yeah. People can glamorize it, but it's a whole lot of weeding.
It's weeding.
It's weeding and it's cleaning up after the animals and and just like maintaining the land.
So
Yeah.
this was so it's maintaining the land. What did they farm anything in particular? I mean, what is it? Was their product olives? Did you say?
Yeah. So olives, olive oil, and and small vegetable gardens.
Okay.
They also had their other side business was called like agritourism. So actually, people came and stayed on their farm. So they had guest rooms for people as
okay.
well. And then would cook them dinner too.
Okay.
Yeah. So they kind of have a variety of things.
Okay. So they used the
Yeah.
land to its fullest, really, and they also,
Exactly.
were able to be profitable by letting people come stay aside from their from their product.
Yeah.
So was this particular farm? Did they do everything sustainable and organic?
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
okay.
That's the cool thing about this the whole program, the worldwide opportunities on organic farms, is that that just every farm that's listed on there, because it's kind of like it's just like a registrar, if you will, for people to be connected from farmers and volunteers.
Right.
So every farm listed on there is certified organic, and they're all pretty much just small family operations.
So what does it mean? It could mean something because regulations could be different for our country than Spain. But what does it mean to be? Because I think, and we talked about this a little bit, that organic, I mean, the word natural definitely, but the word organic can be a little ambiguous sometimes.
Yeah.
And sustainable can be too. And when we're, doing our marketing and going into Whole Foods and going into Rainbow Acres, where I know your product is, which is one of my favorite health food stores to go into.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And you see, sustainable, organic farming, and there's all these different signage. Sometimes it's a little bit, we know it's healthier, but it's a little bit ambiguous. And though I know because it's my field, but
Yeah.
could you tell the audience what that means and what
Yeah,
it was,
absolutely.
what you learned?
Yeah.
it meant.
For my knowledge, please. I'm no expert on the
No,
matter,
but-
but certainly passionate about it.
Of course.
When I think organic, it's certainly no pesticides, non-GMOs. There wasn't any type of chemicals that were sprayed on these vegetables that were used in harvesting the plants.
Right.
And same thing with animals as well, as all being natural foods that they are eating.
Right, because what people don't realize, and I talk about this a lot when I do talks around town on eating healthy, whatever if it's animal based, whatever the animal's eating,
Yeah.
we're eating.
Yeah.
So if they're
exactly.
eating healthily and they're
Yeah.
eating organic and non-GMO'd or processed, then we know we're getting a better quality, and we're not getting all those toxins in
Yeah.
us if we are eating animal source
Yeah,
food. So
it's exactly. I think it might have been
people
Michael.
forget that part.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Which I was really hoping to talk about for sure is that we always say it's about what you eat. It's really about what you eats.
Yeah. So
Right.
if it's animal based, yeah. If it's
Yeah.
plant based, same thing. It's
But same
about
thing,
what, yeah,
right?
what's on that land? What is that
Yeah.
soil? What did they do to actually create that soil? Where
Yeah.
is it even natural soils? Rain can cause a chemical effect. So what
Yeah.
are they doing to make it a healthy soil that they're actually planting in?
Yeah.
We have to think that far back
Yeah.
when we think about, farm to table. We
Yeah,
really do.
Exactly. And that's pretty much exactly what I consider to be sustainable is using farming practices that replenish the soil, the land, the food that you eat, all of that, making sure that you leave that soil, that land as good or better than when you found
Started
it.
it. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So the next crop cycle or rotation or whatever can be just as good, right?
Right.
That's what
You're
I
bringing
consider.
that good stuff into it.
Yeah, that's what I consider sustainable.
Yeah,
That
and
it
that
can
makes
keep going.
that you keep sustaining that quality, that level, if not better, if not making it better, of healthiness. Of keeping it uncontaminated, if you will.
Yeah.
And so the question then becomes what do you use? What is a natural pesticide? How do you keep when you're not using chemicals to keep insects and other animals away from your crops? Like what is it that you learned from being in
Yeah.
organic farming?
It's tough for sure, and
Yeah.
that's probably why I did so much weeding.
Yeah, because it's constant. Otherwise,
some people will say that you need the pesticides, you need it for all the pests and the insects because they're bad. Well, the other side would argue that they're good because they're totally natural, and that a lot of insects are there to feed off of other, dangerous pests or insects that should not be there.
right.
And that some can actually provide nutrients to the plants. So you actually want those insects there. Not all of them,
Right.
but there's
Some
certainly a lot of them that actually benefit from their presence.
So you learn the difference between good and by being there, by actually getting your hands in the dirt and being so you understand.
Yeah,
farming.
exactly. Because then when you see the soil like that with all the different worms and bugs going in there, that's fresh soil. It's good soil because things are living in there.
Yeah.
But when you see soil that's just sprayed with pesticides, it's just this black dirt.
Yeah,
and
everything died, which is
everything's sort of dead.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it's so toxic for us. It's so
Yeah.
accumulative, and that's why I really encourage people to buy organic. Wherever they go, whenever they can, and and knowing the source of your food also becomes difficult when you go out a lot. So I always encourage people to cook for themselves because they can buy their own produce and know the source of it, buy their own meats and animal products, know the source of it, cook it healthily, and that way that's what your body is going to, it's going to reflect. Just as the quote in the beginning of the introduction, it creates a happier you because you feel better, you look better, you act better, you have a clear head, you're able to be more productive in life.
Yeah.
Overall, when you take care of yourself, and it really starts with what we put in our body.
Yeah.
Just starts right there.
Yeah.
So how long did you said you were 1 month?
Yeah.
1 month?
Yeah. It was 1 month on that farm in Spain, and then I came back to LA. Eventually had to come home. My mom certainly wanted me to come back.
My daughter was gone 9 months in Europe. I know the feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You want to come back.
Yeah.
So at that time it was like, all right, I guess time to come home, and then let's see, figured out, a job in LA. So I guess.
So what did you do? So you have a business degree, is that correct? From
I have
USC.
a
So
business
degree.
degree.
Were your parents like, okay, now he's going to get serious and he's going
Yeah.
to come home. He's 22, 23 years old now.
Yeah.
And he's going to get serious and get a corporate job or something.
Yeah. No, they're still waiting for me to get serious.
So what did you do? So
Yeah.
what did I know you had a passion for peanut butter, like
Yeah.
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and stuff like that. But now you're like uber aware
Yeah.
of where food's coming from, right?
Yeah.
Because you saw it firsthand.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
So that was sort of the challenge of wanting to find a job, a real job, right, at a legitimate company that was really doing good for the earth, for
Yeah,
the country,
yeah.
something that just had a positive mission statement, not just like, okay, we're here to make
Yeah,
money.
money for
Right?
ourselves. Yeah.
So, I was 23, and that's when I really started all this research. I was like, wow, there are some amazing companies out there that, they're for profit, but they're also doing amazing things. So I was looking for jobs like that, but I guess the jobs that I was hoping for or looking at, they weren't all based in LA, and I didn't have like the greatest job skill sets, to fulfill some of these. So I decided that my friend had a startup that he was working on, and while I was just trying to figure out my life, right? Like, why not pick up a
It's
job?
a tough age, I got to tell you. Being 23 out of college, not
Yeah.
having the skills to get the job, but needing the job to, it's like a catch-22. It's
Yeah,
tough.
exactly. And you're in
You're
your
also finding,
you're in your head a lot. You're asking yourself what you want to do, and then like the fun employment is only fun for so long until you start just feeling like a lazy
and this is
pile.
an expensive city to live in, you
Yeah.
know, so survival is another part of it, but also you want to try to set or start yourself on a road of doing something you're passionate about that you
Yeah.
can earn money. I mean, that's what most people's goals are.
Yeah.
And if you can't overlap the two, then there's a level of dissatisfaction that,
there's a
that
disconnection.
can take you down.
Yeah. So I'd say, about 7 years ago when I was looking for that, it was just hard to find the right company and the right job. So I settled, I settled just for a friend's startup that he was doing.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was in like some video technology. Don't need to get too into the weeds there. But I did that for about 9 months. I was still in Los Angeles, but I found that I was pretty unsatisfied.
It wasn't
pretty
really what you
pretty
were looking
quickly.
for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I went back to wanting to do something different, and that's when I did the road trip around the U.S. for about 5 months, working on different organic farms through.
So now you can see what the U.S. was doing. Was
Yeah.
it different? What were the differences that you saw?
Oh man.
You're not allowed to say.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Did you sign a non-disclosure?
No. There were a lot of differences. Like I was in 3 different farms. One was in Texas, one was North Carolina, and the other was Vermont. So it was all a wide range. In Texas, you didn't think like farming would be all that good. You think it's just cattle everywhere. But they actually had a nice farm in the middle of central Texas. It was Lockhart, Texas, which happens to be the barbecue capital of the world.
Oh,
so we took a few road trips over to some famous barbecue spots, to reward ourselves. Got to live a little.
And were these farms, were they vegetables that you were
it was definitely
harvesting,
mainly,
and what were
mainly vegetables. On the matriarch of the household in Texas, she happened to be Thai, from Thailand.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and because her husband, who was from Texas, they met while he was studying abroad. So she did a ton of things for the home, including all of the cooking. So there I was in the middle of like nowhere, Texas, having some of the best authentic Thai food you could imagine.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. That's fun. How fun. And was she using some of her own crops?
Totally.
Good.
Tons of vegetables from from the
farm.
farm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And were you doing the same kind of thing, weeding?
There's a lot of weeding.
And
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fun like planting stuff also does happen as well.
Yeah.
But a lot
Did you
of
get to harvest too? Were you
Yeah.
ever around for harvest periods?
yeah, it's recommended to be there for, let's say, like a season, about 3 months, 3 or 4 months, so you could see the whole thing through.
Yeah.
I was kind of fast forwarding that by being there for a month at each time.
Yeah.
So
you could.
for me personally, I wasn't there for any
for any of that,
harvest. I was
any of
there
that.
for
Yeah.
the digging and the planting and setting
Good.
it
You're
up.
just getting your hands dirty. I love it.
Yeah, I was getting the hands dirty. North Carolina was totally different. That was there was like a community of 30 people there. It was pretty interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Good people and then Vermont was awesome because there was like 8 other volunteers my age, and we all became this big happy family, and huge potluck dinners where the neighbors would come over.
Oh yeah, and everybody would bring
Everybody would bring
just so
something,
fun
and it's just like
good
that was
camaraderie.
Yeah, it was after that trip. I was like, oh my God, this is like some of the best tasting food, and it's like right here from the backyard, and that's what really sort of just
Flip the
switch
Yeah.
of like oh, this is what food is.
Should be.
Should
It's really
be.
what it should
Yeah.
be, which is just great that you were so adventurous that you could find these experiences and
Yeah.
have these experiences that motivated you.
Yeah.
So what brought you back to LA, and how did you get started with, and why after being with fruits and vegetables and
Yeah.
animal products, how did you get into the whole nut industry?
Yeah. So, I guess like any good trip, it has to come to an end at some point. So I came back, and I guess in between a few years, I then moved to Denver, which was awesome as well.
Mm-hmm.
Had a little startup there, but then again came back to LA. So that's kind of the theme of my life, is that I leave LA, I come back, I leave LA, I come back.
Uh-oh.
And right now I'm back. And so like nut butter is just my favorite food, right? Like I grew up on it. Skippy,
Yeah.
It's part of every childhood.
Yeah, it's a rite of passage, I think.
Exactly.
Jiffy and Skippy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Jif.
Yeah, are you
or
Jif or you Skippy?
Yeah.
It's like Pepsi versus Coke.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
pick one,
Yeah.
right?
Even I grew up on that, and I'm
Yeah.
twice your age. Yeah. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just love the stuff, right? And
But now you have all this healthy knowledge and background of how food is sourced, and you're thinking, "Ooh, what's this label say?"
Right.
When you're
So
reading
now I'm
this.
looking at a handful of those labels. Then I started really reviewing labels of not just nut butters, but of everything.
Yeah,
Right.
it's first and
It's
foremost.
like, oh, it's this
Yeah.
hydrogenated oil, what's palm oil and all that. Like, why is it in here?
Mhm.
And then other types of sweeteners that we can barely pronounce. It's like,
Yeah.
why is that in here?
Yep.
So, I was
Last longer and make you more addicted to it.
Yeah.
There's two main things why people add chemicals. Flavor to make you want to keep coming back to it.
Mhm.
So GMO, just chemically made flavors.
Yeah.
And then the other things are preservatives, things to make them last longer and sit longer on a shelf. And
Yeah.
you could get more product out and be more profitable, really, is what it comes down to.
And for the nut butters specifically, is that good ones, the oil separation is natural. So then companies will throw in all those preservatives so there's no more oil separation.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a little annoying. Got to stick your knife in there, or
And
spoon,
do
and
it.
stir it.
Yeah.
So people don't want to have to do that
Yeah,
extra
you know
step.
what you do when you take the nut butter? Turn it upside down before you open it.
Okay.
And then the oil comes to the top. And if you don't want all that oil, to just let it go. Take it out. Drain it. It's
Interesting.
easier to drain if you, I have all these little tips because I'm in the
Interesting.
nutrition field.
Yeah,
So I
I-
know how to help my clients when they say stuff like, but it's too, and I don't want, well, let me give you a little tip.
Yeah.
It's just like food hacks.
Yeah,
Healthy
I-
food
I
hacks
didn't even
that I
think of
have.
that one.
Yeah, so tell people that if they give you a earful about what a
Yeah.
hassle it is. I mean, big deal. So you take a knife
Sure.
and you stir your oil up, but some people don't like it that oily either. So you just
Yeah.
pour it off. Just
Yeah.
pour it off, but you got to go upside down to do it.
Okay.
So
Deal.
tell us. So
Yeah.
you said there's nothing good out there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people say that, but to actually go and make a product from
Yeah.
just saying that is a whole other story.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure. So yeah, there weren't the products out there that I really loved. You know, the healthy ones were either
Yeah.
just just almonds or just cashews. They're
Yeah.
kind of just like plain, a little boring in my opinion.
yes.
So yeah, I was like, I just bought a little food processor off of Amazon just to satisfy my own cravings, desires, and just thought, okay, well, there's so many other different nuts out there that are certainly healthier and have a ton more nutrients, vitamins, minerals, benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just throw them all in there together? And why can't we make it taste delicious without having to throw in all those sweeteners and other things that we've been talking about?
Yeah.
No sugar. That was really the key. Is like,
Yeah,
let's keep it
no
organic,
sugar.
high quality,
Mhm.
and no sugar. So yeah, I was just playing around and doing that for my own.
You just
fun.
bought organic nuts and different kinds of nuts. Because I
Yeah.
know you work with 3 nuts right now, like
Yeah.
macadamia, cashew. What's the other one?
Walnuts.
Walnuts. That's
and,
right.
Yeah, and MCT oil as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just to make it just that extra creaminess, and there aren't really many people doing MCT oil, so I thought, why not be
No.
a little
yeah.
more different?
Yeah, yeah. People add that to like their smoothies and
Yeah,
things
yeah,
like
it's
that
great.
because it's a health component.
Yeah.
So you just started playing around in your kitchen and came up
Yeah.
with different ones that
Yeah,
you love.
just totally having fun, and really no plan of making it.
How long
a
ago was
business.
this that you started playing?
Yeah, a year and a half.
Like a year,
ago.
just a year and a half ago.
A year and a half ago is
Yeah.
when I was just making it for myself.
Yeah.
Right? Just my little food processing kitchen. Friends would come over. I'm like, hey, try this. Like, tell me what you think. And they liked it. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. So, yeah, kept doing it, and then just sort of every time tweaking the recipe for
To make it better.
To make it better, just
Yeah.
exactly how I wanted it, until I started doing it over and over. And it was the same recipe, and I thought, okay, like this could be a fun little
Side hustle.
side
Yeah.
hustle hobby to see, let's just sell it at the farmer's market. Just it'll be super fun, and just to see what happens, because I'm super passionate about it, and it's right in line, with everything that I've been saying with food, starting a business, for profit, doing something good, and it's something that I'm literally obsessed with.
Yeah.
So
Which is always a great way to move forward.
yeah,
When you have good intention and you're doing good things and you're I mean the word obsessed can be a little strong, but
Yeah,
when you have a
passionate about it.
good passion that you just want to be
mm-hmm.
is the way you create success really
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah. So yeah, I signed up to do the farmer's market, and my first one was January 24th of this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's still new.
Still new, very new.
Yeah. And
And you were pretty successful with the response right away,
yeah,
right?
people
Yeah.
liked it, to my surprise.
Yeah. Because people love things that taste good and are good for you.
Yeah.
They just don't want to be hassled with having to make it, because it's always a little bit more effort to make it
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah,
know?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. We all want convenience. That's why we
Yeah.
pay for so many things.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah, and certainly that. My first few rounds with making this were terribly unsuccessful. It was disgusting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, our success comes from our failures. We have to have
Absolutely.
those first, trial
Yeah.
and error.
Yeah.
It's life, really, in everything, but especially
Yeah.
with food, when you're
Definitely
creating
with
a
food.
food.
Yeah.
So, do you still create these out of your kitchen?
So not my personal kitchen. I
Okay.
was doing that for about 6 months,
All right.
and of just making it. It takes a while for sure. And I had this tiny little food processor, nothing fancy. I had something from Bed Bath and Beyond. That it was great, right? But not large scale. Not commercial.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and then I figured I needed to step the game up
Mm-hmm.
if I was going to keep taking this seriously. So I found an awesome commercial kitchen here in Sun Valley, so in the LA area,
Mm-hmm.
not far, where it's basically like a co-packer for small businesses. I just have to rent hourly,
Okay.
and they provide all of the equipment, everything that I need. This huge, awesome vertical cutter mixer which basically is a humongous grinder, and then they have full-time staff that work alongside me to help me jar it and everything like that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's
it's going really well.
yeah, that's helped with production like crazy.
So do you have a certain quota you have to meet, or do you wait and see what the demand is, or do you kind of got a feel from the farmers markets and the stores that you're in?
Yeah,
So,
Now, exactly. It's always figuring it out, right? Because every now and then, or it would be like a big event or a trade show that I've been doing as well, and with that comes giving away free products. So
right.
there's always, it's
It's
always a
a
little
give and
different.
take
Yeah,
always in
exactly.
the-
It's
in
always
the
a little
beginning,
different
yeah.
monthly, but so far I've able to figure it out for now.
Good.
Yeah.
So, and here's a big thing, and this is what I think is so remarkable too, is that you give 10% of all your proceeds to two big charities, and I'd like to talk about them a little bit. And
I'd love to talk about
for
them.
a few minutes, if you don't
They're
mind.
awesome.
So, and I want to know what they are and why you chose them. And
Yeah.
what what it is that they're charities for.
Yeah. So I'll talk about the smaller one that has a little closer place in my heart. They're both amazing, but the one is Slow Money, which I actually tried to look for a job with them.
Oh,
but,
you did?
Yeah, but they're a small nonprofit. They don't
yeah.
have many employees, so
Right.
really the only people on staff are the president, vice president, maybe one other person. So I wasn't qualified when I applied, but they're an awesome little nonprofit. They essentially take the donations that we make to them and they invest in small-time family farms to get them off the ground. That it could just be a couple acres of land where they need $10,000 that'll change their lives dramatically.
Right.
And it's awesome. So it could just be an investment from this company from $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 so they can buy a certain piece of equipment or a tractor and to get these guys going. And that's pretty much the mission of this nonprofit.
Well, that's very cool. It's very cool that you're giving proceeds to them.
Yeah.
And then the other one is...
Yeah, and then the other one is the awesome one that I think a lot of people would know, World Wildlife Fund.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're
very cool.
Yeah, they're a big dog, and yeah, they just help in all types of ways. Besides sustainable agriculture, but with clean water, endangered species, animals.
They're just environmentally conscious.
Just overall
throughout
environmentally conscious through and through, and they're being so successful, which is why they've gotten so big. So they're amazing as well.
So it's worth giving to them, knowing that they're really making progress and getting stuff done.
Yeah.
That's just lovely. I want to thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
That's a big reason why I wanted you to come on the show after reading about you, because it was just
Thank you.
what you're doing is twofold. I mean, you're giving people a product that's great and tastes good, but it's the source of it and you're giving back. So it's twofold. There's a lot going on. Let's talk about the different nut butters you have. We have them here. We're gonna taste test, and then I want to go through to the audience and with the nut butters, we'll talk a little bit about the ingredients, because you have some superfoods in your ingredients.
Yeah.
Your ingredients are very hand-picked in terms of the health components that they have in them. So that's why I want to talk about them separately and how good they are, because they're you created this because you couldn't find them anywhere else.
Yeah.
So what are the different? So you have four different nut butters, right? And what are they?
Yeah, so I'd say the first one that I made, which is the fan favorite, is the cinnamon vanilla. So that's been the most popular.
And then, cinnamon's a superfood, as we know.
Yeah, it really is. Besides just being an all-natural sweetener, it actually has a lot of health benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that one's great.
So, and what's the nut based on the cinnamon vanilla?
Oh yeah, so they're all a blend of walnuts, cashews, macadamia nuts, and MCT oil.
All of them are.
All of them have that, and then I just tinker with the flavors.
The flavors, okay. And what are the other ones?
So then the second one would be the chocolate reishi, and reishi is a mushroom adaptogen. It's good for immunity, stress, relaxation. So that one's great. That one's my favorite, actually.
I'm going to have to taste. We're going to have to go through. And then, so reishi, so is it like a powdered form of a mushroom?
Exactly.
So you don't think of a nut butter and a mushroom in the same, category or the same sentence, or even as a food that would be eaten together. But very cool that you came up with that.
Yeah, I make my own little beverages, elixirs at home, and because I love mushroom powders and making little healthy drinks. So throwing
Yeah.
cacao powder, and I was always
Another
throwing
superfood.
in. Yeah, then I was throwing in. I was throwing in reishi together, and I'd sweeten it with monk fruit to make it
Okay, I was
taste
going to
good.
ask you what your sweeteners are. So monk fruit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the sweetener is organic monk fruit, which in my opinion is like the highest quality out there that you can find. It's super amazing from the research that I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So I would make these little drinks at home with the reishi and the cacao.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's how you knew that it could go with the nut butter.
So I thought, yeah. Why
So
not?
those were two. What are the other two nut
Yeah,
butters
and
you have?
then the other is more on the savory side.
Okay.
There's one which is just a classic, a little more plain for the people that were requesting it. I got a
Yeah,
lot of people
don't want
asking
too
for just like a
sweet,
yeah, they just want like a neutral one. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll make that. So that one's doing well. And then
Do you put salt? Is there
yeah, yes, yeah, absolutely.
pink Himalayan or
Yeah, I use Celtic sea salt
Okay.
in all of them, which is just some incredible sea salt. Like you could see it's practically still living, like it's jumping out of the bag when you open it.
Yeah.
It's just super high quality. And then, yeah, with Celtic sea salt or pink Himalayan salt,
Yeah.
those have a ton amount of nutrients and vitamins
Yes,
that are
into it.
so good for
And
you.
what I like about, and we'll get to the fourth one, as you see, I went ahead and I printed out your ingredients, some serious value added to your health with these
Yeah.
ingredients, because each one of your nut butters is broken down with all of with not only what's in them, but why it's in them.
Yeah.
You know, and you kind of go through each one like that. And I really liked that about your website and
yeah.
about the product.
Cool.
Because you just don't usually get that added benefit of understanding why something's in
Yeah.
something, you know, and you've got it all written out and all laid out here.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And what's the fourth one?
Yeah, then the fourth one is to be a savory as well. It's actually with rosemary, and that one's super different.
Yeah, another ingredient you wouldn't put with a nut butter that
Yeah.
you know necessarily that you would think of with a nut butter.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Why?
Why did you use rosemary? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I because I couldn't find anybody else doing it, and I love rosemary, and my roommate, or not my roommate, but one of my neighbors, she's a good friend, she brought home like a bag of cashews, just not cashew butter, just straight up cashews with rosemary on it, and I had a bite, and I thought it was absolutely delicious. That I decided that a rosemary nut butter
true.
would be
That
amazing.
would work, yeah, because
Yeah.
you see like Morcona almonds, they have the rosemary, you know,
Yeah.
ones that you can. Yeah, I guess that does make sense that you would put
Yeah.
rosemary with nuts.
Yeah.
Well, can we dig in and taste?
Yeah.
We'll give. I'll give my. I am a huge nut fan,
Yeah.
being that I'm mostly paleo. But I'm also conscientious in that I'm more of a pescatarian, and so I personally don't eat a lot of red meat.
Yeah.
Never really have since I did when I was a little girl. So background slightly. I grew up a processed kid because I grew up in the 50s and 60s when
sure, as
all
most
the
people did.
fast food stuff was going up, and it was a lot of cured meats and a lot of preservatives and a lot of packaged processed food. And I called myself a processed kid. Well, lo and behold, after so many years of that, not only are you not feeling good, but you're starting not to look good. And now you're a teenager and you're going,
Right.
hey, I don't want this anymore. So in order to attract what I wanted to attract, not just for myself, but, to get a boyfriend or whatever, I
Yeah.
needed to change my life. So
Yeah.
I did, and I became a total vegetarian, and which made me automatically go to salad bars and restaurants, which was just starting in the early 70s. And so early on, I learned that I couldn't eat something like Skippy or Jif because I started reading labels and realizing
Yeah.
that was processed food.
Yeah,
So, but I
exactly.
had this passion for nuts, So
Yeah.
there's it became this whole thing of trial and error of trying to find where I could find organic food back then, and how I could, got married, raised a family, and kids your age, trying to bring them up healthily too. And so I have, nuts have been a big part of my life for
Yeah.
the better part of 30, 40 years. And I've always tried to find the good sources, which is what brought me to your booth in the first place at the
Yeah.
farmers market.
Yeah.
So which is your original? Show me which one.
The-
This is the rosemary.
That's
this
the
is
classic there.
So
Can't go wrong with that.
okay, so now that looks, so it's all 3 nuts are in here.
Yeah.
And okay, I'm gonna give this a taste, and I won't double dip.
All good. They're for you. You can do whatever you want.
This is really good. So does this one have sugar in it?
No
No
sugar
sugar.
in
Do you-
any of
And
them.
I'm used to that because
Yeah.
I don't necessarily, the nuts that I eat and the nut butters that I get
Yeah.
don't have sugar in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for one of the. Okay, so my favorite thing in the world is chocolate,
Yeah.
dark chocolate. I'm a huge. Who isn't, right? I'm a
Right.
huge. Here, I'm gonna let you open that. Who isn't a dark chocolate fan? Here, I'll let you. All right. So, and you don't have. That's not that much oil, really. Here on top.
No.
So there's really nothing to. Oh, this looks so good. All right, lunch. Amazing. This is so good.
Yeah, that one's amazing with a banana. That's the way I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have a picture of that on your website.
Yeah.
This is the one that has the banana with it.
Yeah. Here's the
Yum.
rosemary.
This is the rosemary.
That one's
I love
great
the
with
smell.
with
This is so-
veggies. Veggies are like a charcuterie board or something like that. So you with some
Yeah, and again, you
crackers.
don't think of a nut butter on a charcuterie board. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely. That's why. Yeah, you got to like paint the picture for people. Let them
the
know.
cracker,
With the crackers,
and a
some
little
cheese,
jam or
some jam.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yum. This is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, I'm having a little food party.
Right.
in
We
my
got to
mouth.
we got to
There's a
save
little-
some for these other guys here.
I know. You guys, I know everybody's like salivating here. All right, so this one is the cinnamon vanilla.
Yeah, the cinnamon vanilla. That's the
Wow.
the
And they
fan
all
fave.
have a different flavor.
Mhm.
They all taste different. They're not
Yeah.
anyone is like, whoa, Jared, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So you have a good product. So tell me, we have just a few minutes left.
Yeah.
I'm gonna swallow here. Tell me what your plan is. What's your master plan for these and anything else, food product wise, or any other product in the future?
Yeah.
What's
the
your
plan?
goal?
Yeah, the goal is to make this a household name for sure. Is to get this to expand nationally, to get into the the Whole Foods of the world and the Sprouts and those high end natural retailers, and then to move just beyond nut butters into other types of products that are keep doing the same super healthy twist on sort of childhood classic snacks that we have.
Make them healthy
Yeah, make them healthier. Yeah, and just way better
and good.
Yeah,
Yum.
yeah, make
These
them
are so
healthier,
good.
but also taste amazing. They got to taste amazing, or else nobody's gonna eat it.
No, that's right.
Right?
I mean, taste. It starts right. I mean, we start to taste things when you look at them. Basically, you start to imagine, and our salivary glands actually start happening when we're looking. Like if you really, you open up a jar of this, and all of a sudden you can taste it, and then smell is a form of digestion too, of tasting and using your taste buds. And if we don't like it, I mean, babies are a perfect example. They'll spit
Yeah.
it back out.
Yeah, exactly.
As adults, we're kinder and take the taste, and then we walk away and never pick it up again.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to be good, it does have to taste good. But there is a way for things to taste good
Right?
and not have chemicals attached to them, you
Yeah,
know? I wish
exactly.
people understood that.
Yeah.
Because if we're talking, keeping toxins out of our bodies is what longevity is all about. Longevity with quality has always been my mission. So highlighting stuff like this. Well, you have to tell everybody how they can get these because we're worldwide. So
Yeah.
if anybody in the world can do what to get these?
Yeah, just go to the website. It's butterflysuperfoods.com and place an order there.
You ship anywhere in the world?
I think right now it's within the U.S.
Within the U.S.
Within
Okay.
the U.S., the shipping prices would be a little high going
out.
international
Okay.
at the moment, and also with food and the FDA and regulations like that. So For now, it's within the U.S. until I figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let everybody know, for our local people, what the farmer markets are that you're at and when they are.
Yeah. If you're in LA, come stop by at Melrose Place on Sundays, and Brentwood on Sundays, Miracle Mile on Wednesdays. Yeah.
Okay. So look up those 3 farmers markets. Are those on your websites, like the address of those farmers markets and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. So I highly recommend, and you're on Instagram, you have a Facebook page, so people can find you there and see everything that you're about, because you also go to events, like you were saying earlier, where you bring product, like conventions and fairs and things like that, to get your product out there.
Yeah.
And what you're doing for the general population and in a bigger picture and giving back is really commendable.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for taking your time. But before you go, I have all my guests leave with some words of wisdom. And you actually have some good words on your website. So, but I want to hear your, just your, whatever comes to mind right now.
Oh, man, words of wisdom, huh?
Or final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
I know. Throw that at you.
Yeah, I guess as I've been figuring out my life, there's a motto that's ringing true to me. It's say no to the bullshit so you can say yes to your truths, and I think that's really what it's all about, is asking the hard questions and being honest with yourself and not being distracted by the noise of everybody else and what they're doing.
That's so true. And I didn't mention this, but your product is Butterfly Superfoods / what do you call it? No bullshit.
Oh yeah, say bullshit-free nut butter.
Yeah, because that's how it is across the board on your website.
Yeah.
Which goes right along with your final words of wisdom. Really good. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to be here and sharing with us the mission behind these products and how you're doing it and what you're doing. And I wish you nothing but the best. Good luck with your goals. And because I know you seem pretty determined, I think you're going to get there. So,
Thank you.
I want to thank you too. And go buy these products. Go to the website, butterflysuperfoods.com. Or perhaps if you're in LA, you could go to one of the farmers markets. And as always, I am here the 2nd and 4th Tuesday of every month, so I'm going to see you in 2 weeks. I'm actually going to have a show about getting the clutter out of your life, so that should be a good one because that's a big part of wellness. So I want to thank you again. I thank you, Jared, and I want you to go keep having those conversations that connect to a healthier you. Bye, everybody.